All right, let us start with our project now. So let's start building the components, and we will learn a lot of things while doing this project. Number one, we will create a new application page. So right now, as you can just see, we don't have an app page called Partner Management, which we will add it now, and then we will start adding code to our Lightning Web Components and ensure that the code or the Lightning Web Components can be used only in the new app page that we create. And of course, we'll create multiple components. We'll place one component inside another component, and then we will see how we can share data between the components, yeah, from parent to child, child to parent. And also we will learn how to make a call to an apex method, and then bring the data back to the lightning web component and use the same. you know we'll do that. Then most importantly, whatever components that we use or whatever design that we're going to do with, right, we're going to do, it's going to be completely responsive. Yeah, so there are lightning based components already available to help us in that regard. So we will just see how we can make that page responsive enough so that across devices, the page should work seamlessly without having any aesthetic or alignment issues. We will see how we can use that. Certainly we will use Salesforce's lightning design framework, which is a CSS framework from Salesforce. It's an open source CSS framework which we can leverage to our advantage, and then make the look and feel of our page better. So all these things we are going to do it in the first part of our project. So before we get started, in the previous video we did download all the we did import all the sample data, isn't it? But there was some duplicates because I ended up executing this import command a couple of times. So that's the reason we had duplicate records. So uh, what I did is I created another method, okay, and helper function called clean data, just in case if you run into any issues with the sample data being imported, right? What you can do is you can just simply run this command from your developer console, anonymous window, and then it will clean all the data. Okay, and then you can come back and then import the data again. So it's this is also added in the data fix class. Okay, so that I did it, and now the sample data looks clean. Yeah, except that there are few data points missing. One is the geolocation lat and long, and then the primary POC. Either I can manually add it, otherwise, I do have another method to fix this manually. So I'll do that. Okay, first, go to developer console, then debug anonymous window. Let's try to execute this. Of course, it's a success now. Let's close this one. Let's refresh this page. All right, as we refresh the page, we can see the geolocation added. Perfect. And we may manually access or maybe manually correct this partner POC. I realized that it don't add the code to automatically add this partner POC the in this update partner type. My apologies. So we can quickly add this. So let's map Peterson George as the primary POC for 6sense. For Adobe, it's going to be Adam Mary. For Amazon, this one, and for Cisco, and for demand base, and that's for the Google Cloud, it's going to be Ridley Smith, and for MailChimp, this is for the Microsoft, Sultana Rishi, this is for Nix, and this is Oracle, and at last we have Salesforce. So that's it. I think our data is perfect now. So we got our sample data ready. All the data is appearing. Yes, good. I think the next step is going to create, we can create an app page, and then we can add our lightning components into the page and then start building. So the sample data is ready. Let's go and then add a new app page. I'll go to the setup first, and let's go to Lightning App Builder. So let's create a new app page. Next, and let's give a name partner management home, let's see, or let's say just partner management. Next, and let's have two regions. That should be fine in our case. Finish. All right. So now this is cool. This is done. And let's save the page. And first time we wanted to activate the page. So go to activate. All right, this is going to be the partner management. Icon is fine. Let's activate for all users. Lightning experience. Let's ensure that this is included in the partner management app. Yeah. So this is the one, right? So let's save this. Save again, and then let's go back. Good. Let's go to partner management app. Let's refresh the page. Yes, now I can just see partner management app. So this is where we are going to create all the or place all the lightning components, right? So before we move to the next step, let's take a step back and then see how the final project will look like. So this is how the final project will look like. Again, you will have an option to select the partner type, and accordingly, right? Accordingly, the list of partners will appear. You can just click on a particular partner to see more information about the partner. And as a sales team, uh, reviews sales team can put a review about the particular partner. So all such things can be done in this particular application. So uh, let's take a snapshot and keep it in our notes first. And then let's talk about the design, which is right here. Partner management app, part 1, components design. All right. So this is the part 1 of our application, which is this. This is part 1 of our application. So wherein we wanted to show a description about the partner app and an option to select and few quick options to do additional things in the application and the available partners. And as you can just see, each partner has a picture and then has got a company name, the name of the partner, and the type of the partner, technology, marketing partner, etc., etc. So this is what we're going to build in the part 1 of our project. And to get this thing done, to get the part 1 done, so we're going to build multiple components. So as you can just see, there are 4 components which we are going to build to get this part 1 project completed. Number 1, the master container. So this is more like, as the name indicates, it's a container component, which it's going to hold a couple more components. One is the partner search. So partner search component is nothing but, it will have this brief description about the app. I'm talking about this one. This is the um, partner search component. And then you will have a combo box or drop down to list all the channel partners. This one, and then this. And then you will have partner search result. So basically, as the partner type changes, we wanted to show the partners accordingly, isn't it? So the grid that you see, or the grid of partners that you see on the screen, it's going to be the code for this is going to be written inside this partner search result lightning web component. So that's what it is. And then and then you will create another component called partner card. So this is the uh, component that will have a placeholder to show a partner's POC image, this one, partner's image, and then a placeholder to show the company name, the name of the partner, and the type of the partner. So basically, we will create one Lightning Web component, and then we will try to replicate that component multiple times based on the number of partners available. So there are four components which we are going to create to get this part one completed. So let's get into the coding, and then let's start creating the component. So I'll go back to the code. Yes, let's try to create, or let's start with the master container. As we can see in our design, master container is the one that's going to hold partner search and partner search result components, right? So let's try to update the code of master container back in the base, back in our Lightning Web Component project. You can just see all the components already created, except that there is no code in it. You will see the HTML, JavaScript, and the configuration file. Everything is empty. So we will be start adding the code. So the one thing that we have to remember whenever we create a Lightning Web component, how do we create? Very simple. We can just go to the command palette and then open the command palette and then use this create Lightning Web component option. This will ask you to enter the name of the component, and when you enter the name of the Lightning Web component, you have to follow camel casing, right? Which indicates that the first letter should always start with the lowercase, as you can just see in this example, master container. So there are two words in it, master, and the word two is container. So the always starts with the always starts with a lowercase, and then each word should start with an uppercase, right? So master container is right here. You have partner search, yeah, and you also have partner search result. So master container, the HTML template is empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use lightning layout based component. So throughout this project, we will be using lightning web components as and when it is required. And then we will use Salesforce CSS framework for styling. So I'll go to the lightning components library, and we'll be using lightning layout. So view as lightning web component, because our one of the goals is to make our page responsive enough so that it can work across different layouts, be it desktop browser or mobile browser, tablets, etc. We wanted to ensure that our page works seamlessly fine, right, without having any alignment issues. So this is the best way to go with. We can use lightning layout. This is again a base component available in the lightning web component gallery. So this is pretty much what we are going to use it now. So I will start using this lightning layout. So this will create me a layout for the component, and then we have lightning layout item. So this is basically the column one. Think of a table that you are building, and then uh, you wanted to have two columns. Yeah. So this is my column one, and this is my column one. This is my column 2. Right, let's start with the master container.html. So back in the base code, you will just see all the components already created, but all the components are empty. You don't find any code written inside this HTML or JavaScript, etc. So we are going to write all the code. So one thing we should remember about creating Lightning components, one is how do we create? You can just go to the file menu and then go to view and then command palette and then look for create lightning web component option. So it will ask a name of the component. You can just punch in the name, but ensure that the name given follows camel case convention, yeah, which indicates that the first letter should start always with lowercase, and if you have more than one word in the file name, each word should start with the uppercase. For example, the master container, I do see two words. Master is word 1 and container is word 2. Since I have two words, the second word starts with an uppercase. So this is camel casing convention, but the first letter should always start with the lowercase, right? So remember that when you create Lightning Web Component. So the component has already been created. Let's try to add the code in it. So we wanted to use or drop both the components, right? Partner search and partner search result. So this is where, so this is how you add a component inside another component. So back in the HTML, yeah. So I do have partner search. Let me just copy the name of the component. Yeah. So how do I refer a component inside another component? Very simple. We will simply follow kebab case naming convention and follow the HTML typical standards. So it starts with the namespace C hyphen. In our org, I don't have any customized namespace. So I'll go with the default namespace, which is C, stands for custom. So C is the default namespace followed by the component name, which is partner search. But I have to follow the HTML naming convention, which also indicates that each word should be separated by hyphen. In my case, partner is word 1 and search is word 2. And also there should not be any uppercase. So that's it. That's three principle, three key things that should we remember. One is we have to use the namespace. Number two, follow the kebab case, which is each word should be separated by hyphen. Then there should not be any uppercase. Yeah, that's it. So this is my first child component, right? Because I'm just using this component inside master container. This is my first child component. I'll just use second child component right here, which is partner search result, isn't it? So let's go and then copy the component name, and let's use this one. Again, follow the kebab case naming convention. Hyphen. Right, that's it. We are done. Component 2, follow kebab case convention, naming convention. That's it. Just remember this. You're all good. And let me just go to the HTML. And what I'll do is I'll just simply put a placeholder. It to implement partner search result. And also we'll do the same for partner search it to implement. Perfect. And back in the HTML, let's wrap this component inside a lightning card. Okay. And wherever possible, let's try to use lightning based components. I do have the gallery open already, so you can find all these components are available at our disposal. So the one that I'm going to use is a lightning card because I just wanted to show a nice background with the title, etc. So which I can readily build using lightning card based component. So I'm just simply going to use this one. So this is the one that I'm going to use. So the lightning component is right here, and yes, let's add this component or move this component inside this. So title for now, I don't need any title for this. But for the second component, let's try to add the title. And the title should be available partners because this component is meant to show all the available partners, isn't it? That's it. So let's right click, format document with HTML features, alignment is done. Perfect. Let's try to wrap this inside a div so that we can apply some styling to the div. Okay. Or before we do that, let's try to deploy this component and see how it looks. Yeah. So there is no code yet written. Fine. Let's go to the configuration file. Yeah. There are two things we remember when we come to the configuration file. One, this helps us to define how we wanted to use this component in our app, right? So the very first thing is we have to ensure that this component is exposed to true. Yeah, so that I can see this component back in the org. Number two, I can define the targets where exactly I want to use this component inside a record page or app page or home page or inside a flow screen or in the community portal. I can define the targets. So in our case, the it is very specific. We wanted to use this only in the app page. So let's ensure that the target is given. So once this is done, all we have to do is we can just go to the menu, go to view, and then go to command palette, and then deploy source to the org. You'll just see the changes are being deployed right in the below. Yeah, it says master container, right? So this is one way of doing it. Otherwise, you can just, select the folder, all the folders that you wanted to deploy. And in my case, master container is one. I'll just use control button to hold and then select the components, right click and then deploy. So this is another way to deploy the components as well. Okay. So whichever way it's convenient for you, you can just follow. Yeah, you can just see all the components right are deployed, right? Let's go back and then add the component back into the page. Let's go back to the org. Yeah, let's go to the settings, edit page. So I'm just going to add the component to the new app page that we created, the partner management. And right on the component section, you will find under custom category, you will find master container. So let us add that component. Let's refresh the page. I don't see the sections. Let's refresh the page. It should work. Now let's do this again. I'm back in the partner management, and this is where we're going to drop the master container, right? Let's go back to the settings and then click on edit page. And now under custom components, let's find master container and then drag and drop. Let's save this. Perfect. And yeah, let's go back to the page and then see how it looks. Good. I think, we have two sections now, right? The first lightning card will hold all the elements for partner search, and the second one, it's holding partner search result. All good. So let's try to, apply some CSS so that, both there is a space between both the lightning cards, correct? And also ensure that the components are not, completely aligned to the margin. Let's give some spacing to the margin as well. And this is where we will be using Salesforce's, SLDS framework, which comes really handy. SLDS margin medium. So you have a separate site where you can find all the CSS that is available in CS in our site in our Salesforce Lightning Design System. So by default, when you build a Lightning Web Component, certainly we can leverage the advantage of CSS framework. All we have to do is we just have to mention the right CSS. That's all it is. Salesforce will take care of everything for us, and that's precisely what we're gonna do it. Yeah. So let's go back to the code right here. And let's go to master container.html. Let's try to, change the look and feel of this page. So I'm going to introduce a div, and I'm going to use a class, CSS class, slds-var-margin. I'll say bottom small, and I'll use another div, and I'll have a class. I'll just use slds var m margin vertical. small. Yeah, if you're wondering what this particular class will do, don't worry, you can just go to this site, and then you can just search for it. That is one way of finding what exactly this will do for us. This particular CSS will do it for us. Or if you exactly wanted you to take to the right page, just go to Google and then just give this CSS, and the very first link takes you directly to that page. As you can just see, Control F, yeah. As you can just see, this will ensure that your element, is having some space or margin, right, left in the bottom. Yeah, so that it won't just stick to the bottom margin of the div. So there will be some space in it, and this is exactly what I want to do it. So back in our design, right, you just see both the div, both the components are just uh, kind of merged, right, each other. So we just wanted to give some space. So that's the reason I'm just using this, margin CSS to give some space to the bottom and the top. Okay. So I do have these two. Let's just try to bring this to here and bring the second one into this div. That's it. Let's get the alignment done. Perfect. Let's try to deploy and then see how the look and feel of our page is now. Yes, deployment is completed. Let's go back and then refresh the page. Okay, just in case, right? If you don't find this refreshed, or you don't see the latest code, appearing on your latest changes appearing, then you can just right click, go to inspect, press and then hold this refresh button for 2 seconds. You'll just see two more options. You can just empty your cache and hard reload. I can go with hard reload as well. So this will ensure that the changes, right, are getting reflected, because HTML, JavaScript, and CSS are by default cached by the browser. We just have to clear as the developer to see our new changes are appearing on the screen. Yeah, now you can just see this, right? There is a space between the two divs, right? Now we can focus further on and then implement partner search. All right, let's try to build our next component, which is partner search. So if we go back to the design, so this is our partner search, isn't it? There is a description about the app, and there is a placeholder to show the list of available partners and the three actions, correct? So let's see how we can further build this one. So let's go back to partner search. Yeah, the HTML. Let's have a description first added. So this is our app description. Yeah. So I have the description already available in my notepad. Let me copy and then paste it right here. So this one will give me the description. Or what I can do is, instead of just hard coding the description right in the HTML, I can do this. So I'll bring partner search JavaScript right here. Then right click, split this to the right. So I can just see both, side by side. I'll create a property. I'll just say this is my app description is equal to, within single quotes, I just have the entire string stored, isn't it? And back in this template, what I would like to do is I can just simply use a p tag, a paragraph tag, and then bind that property. That's it. Pretty cool, right? So now the next thing, I just want to have um, a combo box. Yeah, channel partner combo box. All right. How do I create a combo box? Again, I don't have to do anything from the scratch. I can go to the gallery and then have a look if there is a combo box option available. Yes, there is one. Let's try to use this combo box. And yeah, so what we can do is we can just simply copy and then get the code, copy paste the code, and then further fine tune the code according to our need. So let me just copy entire code and then put it right here. back in the JavaScript, I do have JavaScript. Let me just add that right here. Yeah. So looks like now I have the combo box added, and also I have the channel, I have the description added. So let's bring other items as well. For example, let me wrap this inside a div for a moment, so that later when you just apply CSS, we can able to focus on these elements and then add them. All right, and also let's do this. Let's have this fine, and let first right click format document. So the alignment is corrected. Good. Let's have another div uh, inside which we're going to add the actions. Action icons. Looks like there are three icons, right? Back in our design, right? The three icons. So how do I build this? Again, we can go back and then leverage our base components. There is something called button icon. So where I can just show a button with an image on it. Let it load. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can just see this, right? Exactly. This is what I have just used in the, I'm just going to use in the code. So let's do that. So this is our button icon, and let me just copy this and then go back to my code. So this is my first button icon. Yeah, I want to give icon name. So where does this come from? So the Salesforce CSS framework, the default CSS framework, SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System, it gives you a lot of options. One of the options is icons. So as you can just see right in the Lightning Design System page, you will find a lot of icons for us to use it. So uh, these are the icons that I can use it directly in my code. So the way how I refer these icons, it's very simple. Each icon is categorized under a category. So you will find all these icons, under the category utility and the name of the icon. So back in your code, if I just wanted to use this activity, what I will do is I'll just use utility hyphen activity. So that's what I will do it. So in my case, or in our case, right, we just wanted to use a colored icon, isn't it? So which you can find it right under the category action. So if you just scroll down, so you will find standard icons, you will find custom icons, and then you will also find actions. You can find this right here, right? So the one that we're going to use is this add relationship. So it comes under the category action. So I'll go back to the code. I'll just say instead of utility, I'll just say action. Under action, I'm just going to instruct Salesforce to bring this icon. That's it. Okay. And yeah, that's the icon. And alternate text for now. The variant is brand. I just wanted to give. And alternate text, I'll just say add new partner type, and then I'll give the same name as title. Okay, and again, if you would like to know more details about what each of these parameters will do, variant, icon name, alternate text, title, etc., so we can simply go back to our gallery, right, where you have a complete documentation written. And then if you go to specification, you will just see all the attributes that are supported, for this tag lightning button icon. And you can just find this here, right? This is a required attribute, and this is where you can mention the icon name from the lightning design system. I used variant, yeah. So you can just see accepted values of these variants, right? Their container, brand, etc., etc. So based on this variant, the color of the color of the icon gets changed. So what else I use? I used alternate text, right? So this is used to describe what an icon will do, and also the the text to display, right? When I take my cursor over to the icon. For example, if I go back here, so this is the actual project, right? You can just see when I take my cursor over here, it just shows, the tip, right? What exactly and what exact action that it will do. So add partner type. When I click, I want to see a pop-up gets opened, right? A standard page that helps me to create a new partner type. When I click here, I want this to open a standard, account create page. So these are the actions that needs to happen. We will write the code for that. But before we do that, so we're just building these icons, right? So fine. This is the first icon that we're going to add for the art partner type. So let's go back to the code and then further add the other two icons. I'll copy this. I'll just put it right here, right? The three icons that I wanted to add. So the first is add partner type. The second one is adding an account, isn't it? Add new account. So let's add that. And this one is add new partner contact. That's it. The three buttons, button icons have been added. And let's change the utility. Let's change the icon name. For add new account, let's go to the icons. And for new account, let's search for account. Yeah, I do see a but icon under the category action, right? So I'll go back to the code and simply add the name of the icon. And then for context, let's see if there are any icons related to contact available. Looks like there is a new contact icon available under the same category action. Done. So that's it. Icons have been added and there is a combo box and there is an app description, right? Let's deploy this component and then see how it looks. Then we can further fine tune this component. So command palette, deploy this to org. And one thing, right, if you could note, I did not expose this component. I exposed only the master container which is holding this component, right? So when you add a component, when you have a component added inside another component, the parent component's configuration will be used by the child components, and that's the reason we defined a master container, or we set master container exposed as true. All right, and this gets applied to the child component, both partner search and partner search result. You don't have to explicitly expose these components. Yeah, just remember that point. Your parent components configuration gets applied to your child components. Yeah. So let's now the deployment has just been completed. Let's go back to the page and refresh. Again, if you don't find your page, reflected with the new changes, just try to clear the cache. Again, as a developer, you have to do this, not, and it does not affect your end user. It's not something that end user needs to do. Only us as a developer at the time of creating the application, right? We wanted to see our changes reflected immediately. Just get the cache cleared. Okay, good. So now I see the things have been added, right? The elements or the components, the new elements have been added. There is a element, paragraph element shows the description. There is a combo box shows, a list of items, and there are three icons, right? So perfectly fine. Now we have to spend a little more time to change the look and feel of this page, right? And then focus more on getting this channel partners populated. Yeah. So let's first spend time on changing the look and feel of the application, for which we are going to use something called lightning layout and lightning layout item. So these two, base components, we are going to use it because one of the goals for us to, to ensure that this application works seamlessly across devices, irrespective of desktop or mobile or a tablet, right? So this one lightning layout and lightning layout item will ensure that the page works across devices seamlessly. So basically it uses responsive, grid system behind the scenes. It uses right classes that will automatically adjust based on the size of our the height and width of the device. So this is, what we're going to use it. Very simple to use. So let's go back to the page. So if you look at this, right, this is how uh, we wanted our page to appear, right? We need to have two columns. The first column should show the description. The second column should show the combo box, and then in the first row, right, in the second column, the first row, and then you will have in the second row all the three icons. So how do I build this? So we can use lightning layout. Yeah, the nested lightning layout is what we are going to use it, okay, to build this one. So let's go back to our partner search. Let's focus on this HTML. Yeah, so let's introduce lightning hyphen layout number one. Yeah, so this is for the first column, column 1, and what we can do is can just say lightning hyphen layout item. Yeah, and for column 2 let's add another lightning layout item. So the first column will certainly take the description, isn't it? The description, this one. So inside which I'll create another lightning layout. All right, I'll create another lightning layout here, and I'll have another lightning layout item. Let's do this. Yeah, and what we can do is probably we can have the columns right here. Column 1 is right here, and we will have column 2 moved from here to here. Yeah, so as you can just see, it is possible to create nested lightning layout as well. So inside the column 1, let us all right, let's summarize what we have done. So we have just introduced lightning layout and then a lightning layout item. Basically, it creates a column, right? Inside which I'm just creating another lightning layout, right? So it indicates that we can create multiple lightning layouts. Basically, we are constructing, a grid or a table for our page, correct? So column 1, this is where, this app description will go. I'll just move this code right here. Right click, format document with HTML features. Now you can just see this, right? The description is right here. And the column 2 is where I'm going to add the combo box and the buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to introduce another lightning layout so that I get, you know, both the combo box and this action icons, are added. So fairly simple. Well, let's introduce lightning. Let's copy lightning layout and add this one right here, and then let's add lightning layout item, add right here. So done. So inside which let me just remove the additional or the extra tag. Perfect. So now we can have the component or can have our combo box and combo box moved into this lightning layout, and then we can also have our div icons, action icons moved right into this lightning layout item. Perfect. So this is cool. Let's first right click and then format document with HTML features. Cool, all great. So now, we just added everything inside the lightning layout, right? It is time for us to add the appropriate classes so that you will just see the styling done for this lightning layout. Number one, so this lightning layout, I would like to ensure that this is arranged, center horizontally. So I'll have this attribute horizontal align added, and then we'll have padding given so that the elements inside this lightning layout will have some space around it. So horizontal hyphen small. Again, if you would like to know what this particular attribute will do, as I said earlier, you can just always go back to the documentation, write it in the gallery, look into the specification, you will just see the attributes, what each one will do. Further details, you will find it in the documentation as well. Yeah, so pretty cool. Let's go back to our code. So lightning layout item, you have this padding around small is also given. And also you can just set the size of your, column, width of your column, fixed or auto flexible. So in my case, I'm going to set the fixed size as 6. Okay, so this is cool, and let's do the same for, maybe I'll apply the 6 right here because right now here is just one column, right? This is the first column. So I will go back to this, and I will ensure the size is given 6. Okay, why it is 6? Because if you look at this, the design, all right, so we have two columns, the first column and the second column, right? If you use grid system, imagine that you have or probably, right, imagine that you have this entire space available, of which I want to divide, the space into two equal halves, right? In grid system, the the entire block is divided into 12 sections, of which I want to allocate 6 for showing the description and the remaining 6 to the show the combo box and the action icons. So that's the reason I'm just going to divide this entire grid system of 12 into 2, which is 6 and 6. So for the first column it's going to be 6, for the second column it is going to be the 6. That's it. I think pretty much, we are done. And right, so let's first try to deploy this and then see how the look and feel is, then further fine tune. Okay, let's deploy this to org, and let's go back to the org and right click, inspect. Let me just hard reload so that it will clear my cache and then bring the latest changes. Now this is, perfect, right? Right here. Hmm? I can just see there is a spacing from the margin, and I can just see the description appearing fine. I think I have to focus on this column 2, right, where I just wanted to ensure that this is arranged or aligned properly. Okay, let's focus on that. So let's go back to this code, and yeah, so we wanted to focus on the column 2, right? So all right, so this is my second layout item. I'll probably give the size. Let me just, column 2 is right here. Column 1, did we give padding? Yes, we did give padding. For column 2, we are giving padding, and then size to true, size to 6. That is fine. And this one, the lightning layout, so we'll ensure that vertically all the elements, are arranged. So we wanted to show this on the top, and right below, you wanted to vertically arrange all the action icons, right? So that's the reason I'm just adding vertical align attribute, and then also saying that it has to be aligned center, right? And then let's ensure that there is a space given to all the be given to, these two elements, combo box and the action icons. So we do have this lightning layout item, and what I'll do is I'll just say padding is equal to, we'll get some space, equal to SLDS hyphen var hyphen, or let's give margin around is medium, and also let's add another class around hyphen small, so that will do. And I would like to give a size 12. So basically inside this, inside this space, I just wanted this component to take the entire space 12. So that's the reason I'm just giving, the size as 12. I'm going to repeat the same for the icons as well. So let's see what happens first, and then we'll just make changes. And I have a div, so let's try to give some space as well. Class equal to slds hyphen var hyphen uh, p tag hyphen around small. Let's add this to this div. And also we'll ensure that this is um, all these icons are aligned, absolutely center. So for which we do have another class, align class, which I can use, absolute center. Cool. And what else? Copy. And between the icons, we wanted to give some space. Let's try to deploy the changes and then see how the look and feel is. Then we can further fine tune. Okay, the deployment has just been completed. Let's right click, inspect. Let's go here, hard reload. Good, now we can just see this, right? This is pretty cool. Only thing is we just have to ensure that the icons are properly spaced. Let's focus on icons then. So this is our lightning button icon, right? Let's try to add the CSS class for this. So let's wait for this to add. So we have this around small, fine. Let us also ensure that. All right, let's add some class. So we have to give some margin, both all the three icons are just, overlapping, right? Or there is no margin. So SLDS hyphen var hyphen margin m. Let's see what options we have. So you have margin around small, medium, etc. Do I have margin left? Yes, I do have margin left, small or medium. Let's give. Okay, let's do the same for the next item as well. Good. Now let's try to deploy the source. Perfect. Let's go back and then refresh the page. First refresh the page. If it doesn't reflect the new changes, then we can clear the cache. Good. Looks like our changes are getting reflected. So now we can just see the look and feel, right? When we started, this is not how it was, correct? So then we slowly developed our code, and then we applied, we made use of Salesforce's Lightning design system, right? And then we used Lightning based components, correct? So together, now you can see how the look and feel has changed, right? Now we can focus on changing the combo box, because we wanted to show all the list of partner types, right? So basically these are the partners we wanted to bring and then bind it to the drop down number one, correct? So let's see how we can do it, and then we can focus on adding the functionalities for each and every button onto this partner search component. Yeah.